Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. May 26, 2025, Virtual Strangers, episode 225 is live. I, of course, am your host, Wes. With me, as always, are my good friends, Eric and Ruuts. Ruuts, how's it going, man? It's been a while.
It's been a while. We did it. It's going good, actually. I was just telling you and Mash about Blueprints, which Mash knows about. You don't just found out about one of the best puzzle games I've ever played. Hope it comes to VR someday because it's definitely 8 years for an indie game, and you can tell with the polish and just how amazing that game is, and just how I'm like 14, 15 hours in, and it's still like I still don't understand a lot of it. It's still unfolding. It's just super cool.
So it's blueprints, like blueprints from like an architect would have, or is it like blueprints like the Prince of Wales, but he's like blue?
Like a prince, like the Prince of Wales, but it's a play on words in a sense as well, because you're drafting blueprints for this house. The whole thing is it's like I think it's 45 room mansion. Your grandfather died, you've inherited it, but you have to make it to this 46th hidden room. And the whole thing is you enter the entrance hall, you can go straight, left, or right, and it's 3 random choices, and some of them turn, some of them go straight, some of them are dead ends, some of them have items, some of them have gems or keys which you need to get into special rooms or to get into rooms in general. And there's puzzles everywhere. It's just one of the best games I've played all year, and it's it's fairly basic, as far as the game. Well, the game looks amazing too, but as far as like clicking and stuff, but I mean, it's not basic in the game design or the thought that's put into it. It's just amazing.
Eric, we leave Ruuts alone for 2 months, and he's not only does he start playing like more flat games, but he's playing puzzle games now and roguelites.
I'm shocked. Like this was the last game. Like, I've had this game in my library for a little while. I'm shocked that Ruuts is playing this. This is like not the game that you would think Ruuts would play. So yeah, for me, I'm like, and I think it's super cool and unique, and I think that's why Ruuts likes it, because I know that you're not a big puzzle fan, but I think you definitely like unique experiences, and that's what this is, man. Like, and like you said, 8 years in development by like a small studio. But man, they came up with a great idea. Like, I think, again, for me, I'm like, I don't like I don't want to pigeonhole myself into any kind of genre that I like. I mean, but I just want unique, cool, different stuff, and this is definitely that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Sure. You know what I've been playing, Ruuts? Lies of P.
Ooh,
wow!
I've thought about playing that. I've downloaded it, and how is it? Because you obviously can play it in VR.
Well, I think you're gonna like it. Like, this is your sort of deal. Am I mistaken in my memory, hearing you say that you were a fan of Bloodborne back in the day?
Yes. Oh, I loved Bloodborne. As a matter of fact, I'm one of the fans that is still really hoping they do a remake, because for whatever reason, that's the one that they've never touched, and there's always a rumor around it. And as a matter of fact, somebody just did this amazing remaster for PC, and within I think a week of them releasing it, they were forced to shut it down, which makes me believe there probably is a remaster in the works at some point.
That's a good point. That's a good point. We saw similar behavior around Metro, right? And anything that looked like Metro VR, they made them take it down. And then lo and behold, there you go. And then within 6 months, we had an official Metro VR game get announced. So hopefully you're right. Hopefully there's a new Bloodborne on the way. But anyway, Lies of P gives me that same vibe. It's a hack and slash with like a RPG system, like the shit. It's been too long since I've done this, Ruuts. I'm forgetting basic vocabulary. It's got a RPG progression. system to it, and the way the story unfolds. People call it a Souls-like, although I haven't gotten far enough into it to see how difficult it's going to be. But it seems like your jam, man. I played a couple hours of it in VR a couple days ago, and I had a good time with it. It's a lot of fun.
I need to do it because I have it downloaded. It's I went into Expedition 33 or whatever because I have Game Pass. Because everybody was saying, "Oh man, this is game of the year." I don't like it, man. This is the thing. Like, it's beautiful. The story is really cool.
Turn-based.
It's turn-based,
out of date,
and the combat is like Final Fantasy, and I hate Final Fantasy. So, and I hate turn-based. So it's like not for me, but it looks amazing. People are loving it, saying it's their game of the year. So.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it. I don't understand how turn-based is still a thing in 2025, but apparently there's a lot of nostalgia out there for that format. Because you're right, man. People are just going nuts for that game.
Yeah. One of our title producers at FlatVR Studios was actually streaming it inside of our Discord the other day because I had no knowledge of the game other than hearing the name, and I get in and I watched him for like 45 minutes play it in Discord, and it's fucking good. It looks good. To the point where I went and downloaded it. I went and bought it as soon as and I'm the same way. I'm not turn-based. I was never a big Final Fantasy fan, but like the combat here does look pretty cool because it's like it is turn-based, but it's like quick time action events too, like or dodge and parry events. So it's like it's a mixture of both, but like it gives me Elden Ring vibes. Roots.
Can you understand? I mean, can you believe that I don't like the parry aspect of it either? I was like, I'm trying to dodge. I'm trying to time the dodge, and I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe I just need to give it more time. It is like the thing is that's the story is mostly what everybody's raving about, and obviously if you like that kind of gameplay, but yeah, it's definitely there's some amazing games. Oblivion, obviously, I went into very deep. And I played something else. I'm trying to think of what it was. I downloaded something else and played some in there, but I'll have to think about it. That was on the NUEVR.
Oblivion.
You know what I did play the other day that is freaking epic, and we're going to talk a lot of flat games before we get into VR here. But like I as soon as it dropped, I had to go get Doom Dark Ages. It's
how's that?
It's amazing. It's the best Doom game I've ever played, and I played every Doom game that there is, and the Doom Eternal was great. I thought it was a really good game. This is way better. It's the new combat system is amazing. The weapons feel great. It kind of like gives you a level. Like the original Doom was like levels, right? Like you get through this level and then you just go to another level, and like it didn't seem like it was like a story like brought you through, but it seemed like, okay, you can go back and play that if you want to go back and play it, find stuff that you didn't find the first time or unlock different stuff. And it just feels like that again. So it feels like classic Doom, but it looks amazing. It plays epically. You feel like a badass right out of the gate. It's probably one of the best games I've ever played.
I heard the combat's a little bit less visceral, though, like a little bit slower and less graphic is what Asmongold was saying.
I don't know. I mean, you get a power gauntlet in there where you can almost rip people apart. You can punch enemies and like almost rip them apart, and like their body parts come flying off. Like, and I'm only probably like an hour to 2 hours. I'm like 2.5 hours into the game. And I imagine it's got to get even more than that. Like I already have the power gauntlet where I'm just like ripping dudes apart. It's great. It's pretty good.
Paradise Decay joining us in chat. PD, did you? I want to say I saw PD play this Doom game in 3D or in VR somehow. He's probably using Reshade to do it. But I'd be interested to know, PD, if there's a solution out there to play this new Doom.
I could have sworn I saw Luke Ross talking about it, or somebody in the Luke Ross. I could have sworn when there was an announcement a few days ago, and I just kind of glanced at it, and I thought they were talking about Doom.
I don't know how he did it, but Beardo has a video of Doom in VR, Doom Dark Ages, but I don't know how he played it.
It probably is Luke Ross. You're right, Roots. Luke was teasing something a few days ago, and I didn't take time to kind of read through it and figure out what it is. Very well could be Doom.
D's having trouble even starting the game and I guess a lot of people are for whatever reason. And here's my problem with Doom. The new Doom is it's Doom. I don't I like just running around shooting stuff. I just can't do that anymore. Like you know what I mean? I could go Serious Sam and I could run around and shoot stuff, and but I was never really into Doom well, I would say WoW was probably the reason, because I was so deep in WoW that I didn't play a lot of games. But now looking back, and I've tried those type of games, it's just not my cup of tea. You know what I mean? But people are that can actually start it. The people that can play it are raving about it. So
that's weird that she can't play it. Like, I wonder why. Like, I even played it on my laptop. I mean, it chugged a bit. Like, I have a 4090 laptop, but you know, it worked. It played it.
Keeps crashing. She's got a 4080. Keeps crashing, but she was telling me the saga over several days of trying it, and the last day update was, so I uninstalled Doom because I can't get it to work.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
So I've had similar issues with other games on Steam. Oftentimes it is like technical shit where you've got Steam on multiple drives. Sometimes some of these temporary save directories are written into a deprecated folder, and certain games get caught on that, and they'll just crash. And so oftentimes it'll tell you that you need to get an update. You need to update your game, and you'll update it, and it'll download, but it won't install. And you just kind of keep doing this same shit over and over again, and it's typically that's what it is. You'll have to do some stuff like not only uninstall the game, but completely delete the local files. Could just completely delete that folder after you uninstall, and sometimes that'll fix it. Other times you'll have to go in and verify the integrity of your files to get it to fix a certain file. There was one time, I think it was with Fallout 4 VR, that I had to completely uninstall Steam and reinstall it because one of the files that was written on my C drive forever ago isn't compatible with the newest version of Steam, so I had to completely redo it. But she might be having these type of issues.
I think her biggest problem is it's Game Pass, and Game Pass has so many extra added issues that could be an overlay issue. But Paradise Decay says that he played it in 3D, and Luke Ross did just drop a VR mod, and it plays Doom Eternal, Dark Ages, and Death Stranding.
That's badass.
So he's added 3 new
that
games
is
to
badass.
his mod.
There's 3 bangers too. Doom Eternal, Doom Dark Ages, and then Death Stranding. Like, that's fucking awesome. And I think if you can do Doom Eternal and do Death Stranding, you could probably also do what was the name of that zombie game? PS4 zombie game, Days Gone.
Days Gone.
You could probably do Days Gone as well now.
Cool.
Yeah. Luke Ross has been killing it since we've been away, man. Like, he just did, I think, another Dark Souls game, Dark Souls 2 or something like that. And then he had another big title that he announced compatibility for while we've been away.
I remember when those people with no faith were complaining about him charging behind a paywall and bitching. Oh wait, that was us. But think about how much he's added. Like, how much value. Like, it's worth it now. I mean, it may have been worth it then, but it's worth it. There's so many games now that you can play with his mod, and it's all in one. So, and they're all different.
Just to be clear,
no,
that's what I was going to say. We never really gave him too much of a hard time about going behind a paywall. I think what our issue with it was when Take-Two Interactive made him take down those 2 titles. He wanted us to kind of do the legal battle for him, and our whole thing was like, dude, you're making so much money off of this. Hire your own fucking lawyer and fight your own battle here, dude.
I'm going to throw it out there again because I don't have it yet, and somebody out there can do it. I want to play. I want somehow to be able to play those two games with a new mod merged somehow. You know what
like
I mean?
Red Dead or
yeah, because I was just switching the fucking rolling back drivers and all of that. Which we need to get to Red Dead West, but even the way it is now. But I would love to play it updated as well as GTA 5.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it, and yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to get down. I do still need to do one more gameplay stream, because while I have been playing Lies of P, I haven't streamed it yet. So that's the one that I have left. I might even do that tonight after this episode.
That's cool.
Just to get it behind us, and yeah, I'm ready to move on to the new era of just mod heaven, where we can play all this Loot Cross stuff. I'm looking forward to playing Silent Hill 2 in VR. That's got a full-on 6-off VR mod now that we can try out. Yeah, of course, Hellblade 2. I've been waiting for a year to play that in VR. So much for us to do. So I guess we should talk a little bit about why we've been away, and are we back now? And if so, what that kind of means. We've been away because we've been busy. We just haven't had time to do shows. Eric, I think it's been almost 2 weeks now where every day I get up, I click into Upload VR to see what the headlines are. And on the first page of Upload VR, I see a headline from a press release that I wrote. I think it's been almost 2 solid weeks now where every day I've been able to go into Upload VR and see one of our titles, either a Flat to VR or an Impact Inc. title or an Impact Reality client, front and center on Upload VR. And that's pretty awesome. But it just goes to show how busy we've been, away from the channel here.
It is. And look, I think it's a couple of different things. We have a lot going on between Impact Reality, the PR and marketing firm. We have a lot going on with Impact Inc., the publishing division now. And then we have a ton going on with Flat to VR Studios. But it doesn't matter how many press releases you write. If you don't write good press releases,
right,
and you don't have good relationships with the people out there, they don't get picked up. So just the fact that you're able to see your press releases for our clients or our games, published games or our developed games on those sites is a testament to what you're writing. Because that's one thing I'll say is, like, with the abundance of what you're writing, the quality of your writing hasn't dropped. Like, so there are things that are being put out there almost daily. I mean, maybe not daily, but 3-4 times a week at least, where Wes is putting press releases out. But I'll say this: I believe Upload VR has picked up every press release that you've done this year so far, and I think that's a testament to the writing that you do and the relationships that we've made with inside the industry.
Yeah, shout out to our friends at Upload VR. Shout out to Don Hopper and Henry Stockdale. Both those guys have been awesome, and Henry's kind of moved up the ranks a little bit since we started Impact, and now has like an army of journalists underneath him that work to do these articles. So it's worked out really nicely for us as we've developed that relationship over the months and years, to just see them kind of evolve and kind of find their identity, finally finding their identity after Jamie Feltham left, I guess a couple of years ago now. Anyway, the moral of the story is we've been very busy. We've had a little bit of a break in the action because of the holiday this week. That's the reason why we're here and able to do an episode today. But I don't intend for this to be like our one, let's check in with the community and now disappear for a couple more months. We fully intend to get back to weekly episodes, at least weekly. We'll talk about doing 2 shows a week after we can hold one down. But what we're going to do here, it is going to mean the shows that we typically do are going to change a little bit going forward. If we're going to do a show every week, we can't maintain the shows that we've done in the past. There's just too much that goes into the shows that we've put on up until this point. Um, and as I was telling you guys before we went on the air here today, it isn't like I don't have time to come on and do the shows. Like I don't miss very often without parole. I show up there every week, and we do a podcast, no problem. The where we see it, where we have issues on this channel putting episodes out, the issue isn't finding time to come on and do the show, but rather in the time that it takes to prepare for one of these shows. Anybody that's been a member of our Patreon can tell you, looking at the show notes document that I've always produced every week, that there's a lot that goes into that. Not only sourcing the articles for the topics, but pulling of the trailers, and there's a lot that goes into that document. And then with Strangers in the Night, we always at least have put significant time into 2 games before we do one of those episodes, which means minimum 6 hours of preparation time, probably closer to 10 each week. And unfortunately, I just don't have time to do that. My life today does not allow for that. But that shouldn't mean that we don't do episodes. What it has to mean is that we just going to have to start doing different episodes and prepare a little bit less. So going forward, the numbered episodes like we're going to have today are going to have more of a free-flowing structure to them. If it turns out 7 days from now I haven't had any time to build out a show, what we'll do is Ruuts and I and Eric, if he has time, we'll come on here and we'll just pull up Upload VR, or we'll pull up Road to VR, and we'll skim. We'll pick out a few headlines to talk about, and we'll see what the chat has to say about it. We do that for 90 minutes to 2 hours. We call it an episode. We go home. Strangers in the Night.
Right.
If we don't have time during the week to play 2 titles, maybe going forward, Strangers in the Night just has 1, and we come on here and we talk about 1 game. Or maybe we do 1 game and then do like a real-time review on the end of it. The moral of the story is we're going to get back to doing episodes, but they're not going to be the episodes that we've done in the past. They're going to be more loose in terms of structure, and more free-flowing, open dialogue between us, each other, and the chat. So hopefully, everyone won't mind bearing with us over the next few weeks as we try to kind of feel it out and find a new way, find a new system, so to speak. But at the end of the day, I know it'll be fine, Roots, because as long as we keep showing up here every week and hitting the button and going live, I'm sure whatever we do is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. The 2 things, though, what are your thoughts for the first thing, and then I'll ask the second thing before you can respond. But what are your thoughts on Tatum saying that there was a tumbleweed going through the Discord for virtual strangers? I saw that, Tatum. And then the second was, what do you think of like an Ask Us Anything episode from time to time, as far as where we just come on and we just let, within reason, because I know where everybody's going to go, and it's not my mom jokes. They're going to go straight to, what are you guys making? When is this coming out? but there, I'm sure it'd be a good episode from time to time to just let the chat run what we talk about, as far as we just run with what they're saying, and and see how that goes. So.
Yeah, no, I'm all for that. I mean, that's kind of what we do anyway. It's the reason why our 90-minute episodes end up going 3.5 hours. It's because we just let the chat kind of take it where it goes. But no, I'm all for that, and I'd say we'll probably unintentionally have quite a few of those episodes going forward, where we just end up showing up and turning the cameras on and just letting it happen however it turns out.
Here's the thing, I think some of the best conversations we've had is when we're just like letting it go and we're just talking, chatting games.
Exactly. And people like Looper that are out there in our chat, think about that there's things we don't even know is going on out there, and that'll give us a they'll be like, hey, and you're like, oh my god, I didn't even know that was although you guys have a pretty good finger on what's happening in the VR industry, a lot more than I do these days. So
honestly, not as much as typically I would. Getting doing preparation for today's episode, I realized just how out of the loop I've let myself become. I thought that it had been, other than the titles that have been releasing, and we've had a good couple of months now with solid titles releasing on a regular basis. But other than that, I thought that the space had gone quiet. Like, I thought that there hadn't been a lot of new games announced lately. But it turns out I was wrong. I was dead wrong. Getting in there and trying to put together a show today, like I could have put together 3 shows in what was available since the last time I really paid attention. So those of you on the Patreon will notice we've got a list of 10 topics that we've designated for the show today. We might not necessarily get to all of them. We're going to try to. We're no longer going to read the articles. We're no longer going to sit and just watch the trailers before we get started. Rather, we're going to take a more loose approach to it. We're going to read a headline, give a few thoughts on it, and then talk to the chat and move on to the next one. But anyway, those of you on our Patreon will notice after the 10 articles or topics that I've got lined up for today's show, there's a section called Extras, and that's kind of like what used to be called the cutting room floor. But the difference being, on the cutting room floor, I would just literally load that thing up with every article that I saw. The extras are basically stuff that I thought was interesting and would be glad to talk about on a show. Only we can't cover it all. So I kind of dropped all that stuff down to the bottom. But there's probably another 20, 25 articles down there. Stuff that I'd like to get into on a show sometime. We just don't have time to it. But there's been a lot of cool looking stuff that's been announced in the last few weeks for VR. And I think that's exciting because I was pretty down. I thought that VR was, slowly getting quieter and quieter, and it's not that at all. It's just that I haven't been watching.
A lot of news for something being dead.
I know, right? Anyway, we do have a lot to talk about today. We should not waste any more time. Let's say hello to our friends in chat and get to it. Cat GPT, the AI Gamepat, is joining us today. Hello. Brondo's here. What's up, Brondo? I got to hang out with Brondo. Ruuts in Boston. Brondo was up there and got to spend a few days chilling out with my man.
That's crazy.
Cool. Yeah, I actually had a chance to meet the cats too. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I was like, my thought is like, if I was there, people would be like, most of the cats would be like, who is this fucking dude? That'd be the people that are here. They're like, oh, hey, it's Ruuts. But
Ruuts, I think you're more distinctive looking than either Eric or I. People would
definitely
know you from a mile away.
You know what's funny is, and it's funny that you say that, because I asked Grok, I was talking to him, asking him about if he knew who I was, because I was testing whether, because if you go to the personalized logged in Grok, he remembers conversations, right? Which is kind of cool. And then I asked him to guess who I was. And he said something about, I don't know exactly what the wording of my question was, but he said that he guessed that you were the one. I think I asked who he thought the one with the beard was. He said Wes, because he remembers people talking about him having an iconic look. And I was like, bro, Grok, that's me. What the fuck are you talking about? Now,
how dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
But now we're on good terms again. It was kind of rocky for a day or two, but it's pretty cool.
Bobby Y is joining us. Said, I needed a VR show to watch today in PSVR without Parole's absence. Oh, I didn't know they weren't doing one today. Did Brian take the day off? He must have, right? Okay. Well, good. I'm glad I could fill that void. Scott, the PSVR Game Cat for Life, in the chat as well. Also got to meet Scott in Boston. A friend in chat is here in the chat. Thanks for stopping by. Pietrick F is here. Cerebral Frost, the SPVR Game Cat, is here. Another one. Had the pleasure of hanging out with in Boston. We went and saw a concert. Dan and I and AJ and Brian got to see Bit Brigade. Are you familiar with Bit Brigade, Ruuts?
No, it sounds interesting though. What is it?
It's cool, man. It's a like a rock metal band.
Okay.
But what they do is they play the theme music from classic Nintendo games.
Okay.
So what they'll do is they have a giant screen behind the stage and then one on either side. And in the front where the lead singer would typically stand, there's like a couch and a TV. And this guy comes in and starts speed running some game. For our concert, it was Super Mario World from Super Nintendo. But what he did is he sit there and he speed run the whole game. But instead of the game music playing, the band was playing like a metal version of it. And it was really cool. The music sounds a lot cooler than you would expect. It actually really translates over well. But it was cool how they did it because they were completely in sync with his playing. So like he would go down a pipe and the music changed. They would hit the music change right on cue.
So it was artistic almost. I guess it was artistic, right?
Yeah, no, it was awesome, dude. Like if he's playing through a Mario level and he hits a star and everything starts playing super fast, they would start playing super fast.
Wow.
It's so cool. Just check it out on YouTube. Anybody that's interested. Bit Brigade from Athens, Georgia.
That sounds cool.
Those guys, they're awesome.
Sounds like a unique experience.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of conferences where they do something called karaoke, which is karaoke, but they change all the words to your popular songs to game lyrics. So like the song "Torn," they made it Tron, and it was just words that sounded like that would go with the with the regular song, but it was all game lyrics, right? And they do that for all kinds of different popular songs. Pretty cool.
It was a cool scene at PAX this year. Anyway, shout out to Dan. It was cool getting to hang out. Paradise Decay with us. Distracted with us as well. Alejimbe D, 2-year Underground Stranger Game Cat in the chat as well. Salvador is here. What's up, Salvador? Missed you, buddy, in Boston. Who else is here? Mark Pringlesleaf in the chat as well. Techno Glitch here. Chris Richardson is with us as well. What's up, Chris? Who else? Mischievous Marcio, the Underground Game Cat, with us as well. Andrew Ehrenreich is here. Andrew Ehrenreich was in Boston, but I missed him. He was only there for like 2 hours, and
wow, really?
Yeah.
Or was he landing in the airport or something?
No, he drove down with some of his friends.
Oh, I
think
gotcha.
from New York or something, and I guess his friends must not have been too big a fan of the whole scene because they were eager to leave, I hear, after they got there. Anyway, sorry that I missed you, Andrew. Hopefully, maybe next year. Although I think Eric, we might do the Game Cat meetup in Vegas next time.
Really? Did Ryan say he was going to go for that?
Yeah, well, we talked about how we need to do something different because there's not a whole lot of VR at PAX, and while it is a cool thing to go visit, like PAX is always secondary, right? When we do the Game Cat meetup, it's something that we all do, but we don't go there for PAX, right? Yeah. So we thinking, well, maybe taking it somewhere else next year might be a good move. And I just mentioned, like, as far as like having cool shit to do, you can't beat Vegas. Like,
oh, definitely.
Like, I want to take the Game Cats and go to
Area 51.
Go to Omega Mart. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think you can beat Vegas, or you did this time. And this is a big assumption because I don't know for sure. But did you come back sick?
No.
There you go. Vegas
I
is a
did.
fucking eyesore on your health, and every time you fly in and out of that place, you have a good chance of getting sick. It's the city of sin. But
It's
other
the
than that,
cigarette smoke.
it's
It's the cigarette smoke. It's everywhere. Yeah.
That's true.
I think it's a great idea. Like, I actually did have a chance to sit down with Brian that one night we were hanging out at the hotel, and I talked to him, and he said he was going to start, like, he was really interested in start doing more things. He said, like, going out to more events and doing more things. So it's cool that I think it's a great idea. I think it would be great.
He always gets FOMO. Like he never wants to go to these trade shows and things that we go to. But after I get there and I start sending him pictures with this developer and that developer, he always regrets not going. So we keep chipping away at him. I think we might be able to get him to travel a little bit.
Tech says the real reason is hookers. It may be. That is Vegas. Hookers and blow.
Don't forget
right.
the blow.
That's right. That's what makes the hookers so much more fun. They say.
Who else is here? I could go off on that tangent for 20 minutes, but I'm going to focus. Hookworm, the Hoosier Game Cat is here. Chinatown D, my number one, is here. Radio Runt's here. What's up, Radio Runt? Radio Runt tuned into my my stream, my gameplay stream yesterday. Roots, we did the Talos Principle.
How was it?
It was cool, man. I think you would like it, dude. There's a lot of thematic tie-in with Old Testament Bible stuff.
Okay.
And it's kind of a philosophical play on a lot of the concepts from the Bible and from early philosophy.
You know what's cool? Or at least what I think is cool. I decided recently that when I do come into money, I'm going to fund some Bible themed experiences and or games, and I'm gonna throw a lot of money at it, and I think it'll be cool to see what can be done because they don't exist really, not any good ones.
I mean, there's some cool stories from the Bible that would make an excellent VR adaptations.
I just think it would be really cool to actually see that aspect of it. I'd love to go to Jesus's tomb or the temple or whatever.
Oh, you know what?
See Goliath, the scale, and watch David take him down, and it just would be cool.
You can actually in VR right now go to the actual tomb of Jesus in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and I think it's in Israel. Of course it's in Israel. Duh. But I don't remember what the program was or what the title.
The Holy City or something like that.
It may have been the Holy City or the Holy Land or something like that.
It's the Holy City. Let me look. I think that's what it was.
A friend in chat says
really
Jesus is New Testament. He's both. I mean, he just isn't mentioned by name in the Old Testament.
Yeah, it's on Steam. It's called The Holy City.
We
it's like $20,
we see that at one point?
Yeah, we covered it. Yeah,
that was cool. Yeah. Actually, I thought that what was cool about the Holy City was the fact that it had 3 different religious groups all coexisting, even though that's not what we hear in the news. But it really does happen, with the exception of people outside of Israel. But in that Holy City, they all exist, and it's cool.
Yeah.
So
no, it is cool. It kind of does a good job of pointing out how similar all of these people are from these 3 major religions.
But yeah, that's just something I was thinking about that I don't think is represented. There's a lot of different ideas and stuff, but yeah, I think it'd be cool.
Indeed. Hack, the Game Cat, is with us as well. What's up, Hack? Assassin32, Heroku. What's up, Heroku? Thanks for stopping by. What's up here? Hamoud. Philozix. What's up, Philo? What's up, Tatum? JLW99. JLW99.
Nice.
Hello.
You have a super chat back there too, Wes. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh yeah, did I not call that out? Yeah, I will.
I don't think we did, unless I missed it.
I didn't hear us.
Let's see who else is here. Regos Pantaleon is here. Roy Schwartz is here. Money Team Dream is here as well. What's up? GameCat Behemoth. That Dank Cheese. Carl Parker. And that is as far as I can scroll to the north. We did have a $5 super chat from the GameCat Andrew Ehrenreich. Thank you, Andrew. Thanks for being here. Thanks for donating. We appreciate you, brother. Anyway, Slippies. Do we have anybody slip in today? We did. We had Mickey Barrios showing up. What's up, Mickey? Time to play VR slipping in as well. What's up? And I think that may be it. Prophecy 777. Good to see you here. You know what? In honor of Mickey Barrios Roots, let's give away a game. You want to give away a game?
I think we should. I think that's the only fair thing to do since he's here.
This is going to be the room VR?
I hope so. That'd be cool, man.
Just a minute here because this is an unplanned giveaway. I got to get into my key vault here and see what we want to give away. We'll give away something good, though.
Well, while you're looking for it, I will just throw out there. I think it's ironic that MASH dropped the ball on Room to VR. He didn't really give enough copies away. If you'd given one more copy away, I think maybe maybe you'd be broke. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely would be broke.
How many copies did you give away? You gave a lot.
Probably 10, I think.
Yeah.
There's 10.
The
Did you guys play
you.
the new one? The Ghost
Town?
Ghost Town? I didn't play it.
Diaz played it. I went into a little bit until they wanted me to put my hand on an altar, and I was like, I don't know what kind of altar am I swearing to, and I had a moment, but yeah, it looked really cool. The premise of it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Did you play it, Wes?
What was the question?
The Ghost Town? Did you play the Ghost Town?
Not yet. No, I haven't had time to play hardly anything. Although I will say that we have a Game of the Month episode coming up. I guess at this point, once again, Roots, it's going to be Game of the Months because it makes no sense to do April now that we're leaving May. I guess we'll do April-May episode,
right?
And that will be one of the titles that we cover during that episode. But I'm looking forward to it. I hear it's really good.
Yeah, I heard the same. I heard it was good. That's from the Room VR guys, right?
Yes.
It is. Yep. No, we've had Looper and I think Dee probably played it too. Do you know Roots?
I think she went into a little bit. I don't know that she went too deep into it, as far as I know.
You know who loves it when you go deep into it?
My mom. She does.
But
I missed my mom or your mom.
Wes's mom. That's what somebody said one time. And Wes is like, dude, it's not my mom. This is like, I think it's funny.
So what do you guys think? Crossfire Sierra Squad for Steam?
That's a good one. Enough? We were just talking about that the other day. What was that? Why did I bring that game? We were talking about what games have good sniper scopes, and I'm like, Crossfire Sierra Squad, man, that's a freaking good game.
Give out some Crossfire Sierra Squad here. We'll do two of them. Okay, so the first two people in chat that are able to answer this question will win a copy of Crossfire Sierra Squad on Steam. And the question is, the last time that Roots and I appeared on camera on this channel, we did an episode of Strangers in the Night. Name one of the games that we talked about during... No, actually, you know what? Scratch that. Because that's going to be too long ago. People are going to be naming off Game of the Month games. No. Scratch that question. Disregard. The first two people in the chat that can name... what do we do? Let's do name a Metallica song. The first two people in the chat that can name a Metallica song will win a copy
people,
of
people type in
Crossfire
Hitman. Yeah.
And if anybody names the one that I'm thinking of, I'll give them an extra game.
Oh my God. I know which one it is. Can I type it in?
Yes.
D says
It's my favorite. That like everybody picks Sandman, but this one's my favorite.
she did play it. She really is liking it so far.
Everybody's gonna say Sandman. I'm like, I'm not. I mean, Sandman's a good song, but like, they've done other songs. Guys.
I like the one that starts off with the chopper.
Yeah, one. It's called One.
Yeah, One. Oh my God.
Celebrate Frost, the PSVR cat. Yeah, VR cat. Got it. That's probably
on my
favorite
screen.
Metallica. No, he got my song. My song.
Oh, he got yours. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the winners for my giveaway are let's see here, Marcio, Mischievous Marcio, and Hamoud. Congratulations, the two of you have won a copy of Crossfire Sierra Squad on Steam. Just hit me up on Discord, and we'll get your keys to you.
What were has everybody hit you up for all the keys, Wes? Have you given away all the keys from the game of the year? Finally.
Oh no, we've got leftovers. I mean, I need to go back through
people that never contacted you.
Yeah, there's always a handful that don't contact. That's the reason why we have a key vault. I think this Crossfire Sierra Squad these keys were from the 2023 show, I think.
That's killer. I love that.
That is awesome.
Anyways, congratulations, Hamoud. Congratulations, Marcio. Tag me up and claim your key on Discord. What was
Frost,
your
message
song?
me, and I'll give you a key. And
For
if
Whom
you
the
have
Bell Tolls.
if he has Quest, I'll give him a key for the upcoming V-Racer hover bike.
What was it? What was the name of what was your game or your song, Mash?
For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Ah, that's your favorite?
It's my favorite Metallica song. I love that song.
Over One? What kind of soul?
Yes.
Do you have a soul?
I'm more of a B-side kind of guy. Not that For Whom the Bell Tolls is a B-side song. It's not. It's a very popular song, but like it's not the first one probably the first three that most people think of when they think of Metallica. But I am definitely a B-side guy. Like I listen to shit that people are like, I've never heard of that song.
It's crazy.
For sure. Anyway, let's move along and get into some VR talk. I want to see how many of these 10 stories we can get through. Let's start off by looking at some updates on existing titles and a community favorite we start with this week as Dungeons of Eternity teasing a major update with a first look at their PC VR visuals. Dungeons of Eternity, a game that launched a couple years ago on the Quest platform, quickly became a community favorite in the Virtual Strangers community, with people playing, night after night, week after week, grinding away in this endless dungeon crawler. When the game came out and was met with the success it was met with, they published a very extensive roadmap that really went over like a couple of years worth of updates, and they've largely held to that with tons of quality of life updates, new content, new character classes, weapons, the whole 9 yards. Now we're starting to see them kind of grow beyond that and move into other platforms, and the upcoming PCVR version of this game. I mean, it's just visual upgrades, Ruuts, but for what that's, with that said, it's looks pretty awesome, man. Just the difference that dynamic shadows and real-time lighting makes in terms of immersion, that alone is going to make the PC version a worthwhile upgrade. But when you pair that with the post-processing effects and everything that PC allows for, I think that this is going to make this game worth another look. I got into it for a little while, put it down as I typically do, and went on to other games. I'm thinking about spending another week or two in this one now, Ruuts, now that I see these beautiful visuals that they're sharing.
Yeah, it definitely looks a lot more beautiful. So how far did they get on the end game with the Quest version? I'm assuming this is going to be the same same version except for it looks better, or
Yeah, it's not going to have any new content, but there's a ton of content in here already. I'm not sure if they've fully fully fleshed out the entire end game with like a concluding boss fight or something like that. But I do know that they recently, and I'm going from memory here, so someone in the chat probably has more detail on this than I do. But they did add some add levels to the end of the progression. Like used to, you would max out at 50. I think they added another 20 or 30 levels past 50 now that you can do. And there's like newer enemies, newer weapons for those higher levels that they added in. So they've done some work to that end, Ruuts, but I don't know the details around it.
oh, cool. Well, I'm like you. I didn't play too much into it, so for me, it would be mostly fresh anyway. And everybody loved this game, right? So
I played it a ton when it first came out, with a lot of people. So I had played it quite a bit, but I know that I was along the same lines as everybody else. Is like they need more content, and it sounds like they definitely put some in there. So.
Cool. Yeah, what was it that kind of took us off of this? It was Into Black. Like this was the go-to for such a long time in our community, and then when Into Black came out and kind of offered up a lot of the same traits that this game has, I think we all kind of moved on from it at that point. But Eric, I think, I mean, you could see it in the footage that they're sharing here. Like, obviously, the polish is showing, right? Like they could have moved on to a new project or whatever. I mean, they're already a success. Like they're already like a top seller. I don't see the work that they're putting in this game really meaning a lot for the studio in terms of like getting new people into the game. I think a lot of people already have it. But I think it's commendable what they're doing, continuing to support the game, continuing to polish it. And I think what they're doing here is going to essentially make this game a staple for years to come.
Yeah, and I just like this, they're supporting other platforms too, which is great. Like, it's not easy for developers to support every platform because you just don't know if you're going to get the same support back, when in sales. So like when you're investing in a platform, especially Steam, which is, it's not as, you're not going to have as many sales on Steam as you are on Quest or even maybe sometimes PlayStation, but you just don't know. So they're definitely taking a chance in doing it, but I'm glad they're doing it because, a lot of Steam players, or PC players prefer to play there just because the fidelity is better. So, again, I'm glad they're supporting it. I'm glad that they're going to put it there. I'm glad that it's going to be a difference. Like, so we've talked about this before. Some of the worst things you can do is not have a difference, you know what I mean? And just port the same Quest version over to Steam and like have it just be the exact same Quest port. So they're supporting it. They're taking chances. They want to support the community. So it's important that we go support them at this point.
Yeah, and I think this bodes well for PlayStation VR 2. I think that they announced at some point in the past that this eventually would be coming over to all platforms. So the fact that this is looking so good on PC bodes well for PlayStation. And I think you're right, Eric. We often have heard over the years how many more players are on Quest. But I think over the course of the last 6 months or so, like people are starting to realize that the communities are while it's still one big VR player base, that they're very much segmented between the platforms. And I feel like a lot of these numbers that you hear touted from the Quest platform are empty numbers if you're a developer that's trying to put a premium VR game out there. Like you can see it on Twitter even today, and this has been a big topic on Without Parole for the last couple of weeks, is anytime any game announces anything on Twitter, whether it be for Quest or PC or whatever, all of the comments are PSVR, PSVR, PSVR. And that just goes to show that the people we're trying to sell premium games to might not all necessarily consider Quest to be their number one. Like there's a lot of players on Quest, and most VR players have a Quest. But if you give these players an option to play on PC or play on PlayStation, 9 times out of 10, that's what people are going to choose to do. There's a lot of people out there playing Gorilla Tag but those people don't spend money on games, and those people typically aren't very engaged on social media, or at least in the VR social media.
Somebody was asking if it's crossplay. Do we know if it's crossplay between platforms, or?
I'm sure it will be. I can't confirm that 100%, but it would be ridiculous for any multiplayer co-op game to
Yeah.
come to other
it would be
platforms and not
ridiculous,
support
but we've seen it a lot where they're just like, yeah, this isn't crossplay. But in 2025, I would agree. It should be rare.
I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if this game didn't support
Same.
crossplay.
That would be weird.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to this. It's already, again, one of the more polished, better experiences on the Quest platform. I'm looking forward to seeing what the extra horsepower is going to do for this game in terms of immersion. But we move along to another title that we've been watching for a long time at this point, Into the Darkness. I think this game's been actively in beta for, I want to say, 3 or 4 years now. We've done countless stories on Into the Darkness in the past. We've covered the demo. They've had a number of demos over the years on Steam through Next Fest and other events. Anyway, we have now confirmed that Into the Darkness is going to enter early access. I think it said next week, or probably this week at this point.
The 29th, I think.
29th, so that would be Thursday. Yeah. May 29th.
That's the same day Night Rain comes out. the Elden new triple.
Oh, really?
Elden Ring. Yeah, the 3-person Elden Ring.
Anyway, Into the Darkness, Eric, like I said, we've been watching this game for a while, and I gotta say, when I first saw it, like I didn't think it was bad or anything, but it seemed pretty run of the mill, like it was going to be just another one of many unremarkable adventure games, action adventure games on in VR, but over the years, they've added so much and polished this out and polished it out and polished it out that now this is looking like literally a premium experience in VR. And while it's launching into early access this week, like we know that it's pretty much been in early access for years at this point. So like I have high hopes for this. I think it looks pretty cool and has a lot of potential to be one of the better releases this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think it looks great. I mean, the physics look great. I mean, for me, it's just about content here. Like it's got everything else that you would want. I just need to know if it's got content. Like, because if it's been in 3 or 4 years and it's launching in the early access, but there's like nothing here but sandbox, which I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they do have a bit of a roadmap of like, a campaign and certain things, but I don't know. I just need a full blown game. Like, and I think a lot of us do. Like, I'm not a big sandbox fan. I'm not a Blade and Sorcery fan. I'm not a Boneworks, Bone Lab fan. So for me, I want a good experience. I mean, it's great to have all those other things when if somebody just wants to go in and sandbox mode it. And I do know they do have a sandbox mode here for this game. I just hope there's more depth than that. Like, just give me more. Like, I'm okay to have a sandbox for people that want it, but give me, full-fledged story and give me a campaign. Because I think with the visuals and the physics here, if you give me a campaign, I'll be all over this game.
Yeah, and to be clear, when I say I'm looking forward to this and I think it's going to be good, I am 100% talking about story mode. I really could care less about the sandbox. But it's clear what they're doing here, right? Like, they're patterning this after, like, Boneworks, after, like, Half-Life. Like, they're trying to make another one of those games, which I think is great. This is some of the best stuff that we get in VR. But Ruuts, I think what Eric's saying here is something that kind of applies to the VR gaming ecosystem as a whole, as much as it applies to this game. And that is, like, we're getting to the point now where we're regularly getting good quality experiences in VR. I think where the big gap lies now in terms of getting the games to be consistently on a level that we'd like for them to be. I think it's a question of scope, right? Like, it's cool that we get so many good polished experiences now. It's not so cool that a lot of them are done in like 3 and 4 hours. Like, I look forward to the day where VR campaigns are 12 plus hours, like as a standard, like on the regular, instead of being kind of an outlier. Um, and to be clear, like I'm not saying this needs to be 10 hours to be good, but I'm hoping that there's at least six to eight here, right? Like, um, it's not enough just to be a polished out experience anymore. Like we need complete games, or at least that's how I
Right.
feel about it.
Yeah, and I would expand on that in the sense that we need more than just um, shooting guns and going around and doing like we just need real gameplay. Like that's why I raved about Arcane Age. It was just like so good in every single way, and the gameplay was very well thought out, and it just had everything, you know. And a lot of times, and I get it, it's a lot easier to have somebody move through a virtual environment and click on stuff and tell a story and maybe shoot a few things. That's easy. It's just incorporating actual game mechanics that make sense and flow and work together with other. Like I've been playing so many unique games, flat and VR, that it's just hard for me to want to go into an environment and walk around and shoot guns for 8 hours and have a little bit of a story, and me moving from point A to Z through that 8 hours is the experience. That's not enough for me anymore. And it doesn't matter how good the physics are, how good the gunplay is. I just need to actually have it. Like we just need to get back to basics with games, and remember that they're games. You know, like
Yeah.
it's an actual video game, and it needs to have depth and scope, like you were saying. But a lot of these VR games are just you go in there and they're moving you through an environment from point A to Z with a bunch of points in between, and that's just, at least for me, that's not enough anymore. You know, like I just
Well,
it's not.
I
And I'm
think
not
there's
saying
room
that
for
what this game
everything.
is.
I
So
think we've got room for everything. Obviously, I agree with you to some extent. I do think that there's room for those experiences. Like this is VR, it is different, and if you can immerse me in a world and tell me a story and give me something fun to do, um, that can be enough in some circumstances. Other games, very different, and can be more of a traditional gameplay loop type of thing. I think there's room for both. I
I
think we
agree.
need there needs to be variety. I think is kind of my take on that. Is like uh, the tried and true VR formula still works, but being in VR itself isn't enough anymore. Like the novelty of VR has worn off for most people. Most people have tried VR at this point, and kind of been blown away by it. And now we're in this phase where everyone's like, okay, now what? And I think that the standard formula still works, but it needs to be more polished out, more complete. And again, kind of to come full circle on the conversation here, there needs to be more of it. Like um, these 3 and 4 hour experiences, while they're many of them are great, and I still play them and appreciate them. Um, I'm kind of at a point now where I want more $50 games in VR. You know what I mean? Like I get it. So you put together a 4 hour story campaign that's really polished and really fun, and so you only price it at $25. Okay, good for you on putting a good solid title out with a good price point. But I've got enough $25 games. I want more Arcane Age to kind of draw on what you're saying, Rich. Like, and we need more Arcane Ages in our library these days.
yeah, and if we have, I'm not trying to pick on any games, but when I say what I'm saying, it's a lot of these games, or a good portion of them, don't even have the story to pull you through, and they're relying on the atmosphere of you being in this, you know, pirate world, and you're going through pirate caves, and there's absolutely nothing to the fucking game. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of that, and I get it. Like, everybody's got this vision. I just feel like people want to put out their vision of what they've always dreamed of doing, and a lot of people are still stuck in the past of what people might have wanted 8 years ago. And there's place for it. I just I would rather either pay 25 for the 4-hour amazing experience or 50 for the 8 or 10. Just not any amount of money for the shallow. I'm in the experience. I'd rather be in my room looking at my TV, you know. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. We just need to get into a time where we're not qualifying games by saying it's a VR game. Like, games are games, and, like, you know, good gameplay hook is good gameplay hook. It doesn't matter if it's a VR game or a traditional game. So you don't have to be like, and, you know, developers just need to get out of the mindset of, you know, it's VR, so I have to do this or I have to do that. It's all about, like, variety and gameplay hook. Because, again, if you don't give me fun and good gameplay, the novelty of being in VR has worn off for most people a long time ago. So you have to be a good game. Just being in VR is not enough anymore.
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Now, I agree completely. To kind of bring the conversation back to the title that we're talking about here, just so anyone knows, the tangent we just went off of is not indicative of anything really that's in this game. We're more speculating about what this game might be. And again, to kind of start or end where I started, like, I'm very optimistic about this title. I think they've obviously put a long time into polishing it out. I think that that visually this is going to be a very good looking game. I think that the physics are going to be one of the big hooks and selling points of this game. I expect that this is going to be a game that feels good to play. I'm just hopeful that that there's a lot of it, right? Like, I'm hopeful. I'm almost positive that this is going to be a great experience. I hope that it doesn't leave me wanting too much more. You know what I mean? Like, I'm hoping by the time I roll credits on this, that I'm just like, wow, that was an amazing journey, rather than wow, that's it. You know, but I guess we'll know soon enough. This thing coming to early access. I'm hoping that the story campaign is complete, or at least nearly complete, and that they're just going to basically polish it out with the remainder of their time in early access. Assassin 32 VR says, I'm hoping the $20 and 4-hour long games are a developer's first try at VR. That's a good point, and we're going to talk about a title in just a few minutes that I think is a good example of the type of progression that I would like to see from VR studios moving forward. But we'll get to that when the time comes. For now, we move along to one more update from a game that we covered on this channel semi-recently. Cold VR Sub-Zero Edition is about to drop, if it hasn't already. And this is a significant update to Cold VR, which is kind of the inverse the inverse embodiment of Superhot VR in 2025. Most people who watch our channel know what Cold VR is. Unlike Superhot VR, where time moves when you move, Cold VR's hook is time stops when you move. So instead of being more like a stationary puzzle game like Superhot was, this is like a speedrunning game that still kind of has that puzzle element to it, but it's forcing you to think fast as you go along. Anyway, this is getting its first big update on June 2nd, which among its slate of improvements is set to bring 5 new levels to the Quest and PCVR versions of the game. Allware says that the new main campaign will be notably improved enemy AI for better flow. They've tweaked some of the levels and rebalanced it. and it also makes some of more of the game's backroom levels optional, so that you don't have to play some of them that you, I guess, originally would have. The game's intro and menu level have been completely overhauled, so that you can jump into the gameplay more quickly. And Sub-Zero also features a new weapon catching mechanic, improved visuals, support for room scale movement, and B haptics. And also, while they're at it, they're confirming that the PSVR 2 version is still on the way in the near future. So, Ruuts, this is a title that we were positive on as a collective. You were especially positive about this game. You enjoyed your time in it. And basically, this big update that they're getting, they're not only making a lot of quality of life improvements that were requested by the community and reviewers like us, but they've also, kind of rebalanced the whole game, and they're adding in 5 more levels. That's a pretty outstanding first upgrade, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, considering the game was already really good to begin with, right? My favorite thing on that list is enemy AI is improved, even though the enemy AI I thought was fine. Any improvement, I think, in AI is not only wanted, but it should be expected. We're living in the AI age where everything is just fucking... the improvements on everything is so crazy. Like, we should be getting ready to see crazy inventions in the next year. I expect it, but I think it's super cool, and it shows you how good the developers are. The game's only been out in its state for a month or something. I mean, not that long, and they're already making these kind of improvements, it was already running good. So I think it's good.
Eric, all this cool new content and polished content being added to the game, and B haptics. That's a pretty significant bullet point there that I think a lot of people are going to be happy about.
Definitely. I mean, it's great that they're able to still, that they're still going to support it like this and then bring B haptics into it must mean that they're doing fairly well, which is great. I think it's a great game. I think it's a great mechanic. I don't know why it took this long to come out again, and it should have been the other company that did it, but I'm glad it's here now. I think it's super cool, and I had some time in this game. I liked it a lot. Is there multiplayer in this game though?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I think it's single player.
There was another game that me and Todd covered.
You're thinking about. I know you're talking about Chrono Strike.
Chrono Strike, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, so and I enjoyed my time in Chrono Strike, which was very similar to this. I wish they would have multiplayer in here. That would be cool.
Yeah. I kind of think, I think that it's kind of wrong that, when it comes to the VR media and stories about these games or this genre, that this is the title that most often gets associated with Super Hot, because this is the one out of the whole group that is the most different, I feel like, than Super Hot. I think that this game has its own gameplay loop and its own identity, and if you're talking about in 2025, Super Hot fans coming and looking for games to scratch that itch, I think Chrono Strike's a better Super Hot clone. I think the Action Hero is a better Super Hot clone. This game is an excellent game, but I think kind of calling this a Super Hot clone or anything like that's reductive, because this is a very different game, I feel like.
Definitely.
Anyway, super cool that that they're releasing so much new content for this. I think, what is this? It's only like $20 or $25 or something like that. On PCVR. Now, I tell you, one thing you Quest players might want to keep an eye on is watch some Quest specific reviews, because on launch, this game was awesome on PC and kind of shit on Quest. I haven't been back into it. They may have improved it since then. This big upgrade or update that's coming next week, maybe this is the thing that's going to make the Quest version worthwhile.
Maybe.
But it wasn't on launch. So I just want to make sure people understand that when we're talking about how good this game was, we're talking about the PC version. The Quest version was not. Anyway, yeah, again, something cool to look forward to. Stay tuned for more information in the coming weeks on Cold VR. We move along. Let's move into some demos. There's a couple notable demos available on the Steam store right now. The first of which just went live today. There's a game called FYR, The Lost Island. This is a demo for an upcoming psychological horror game that's coming to Steam VR. Steam VR exclusive. And the hallmarks for this game are highly immersive, high visual fidelity and sound fidelity, and tense, often stealth-based gameplay. Eric, this is a game that's going to have you basically hiding in cabinets, ducked down behind some boxes, trying not to make a peep as you sneak your way through the levels, trying not to step on glass, for example, because you don't want to make any noise. Any noise will get you killed. But it's highly story-driven, audio-visual experience, and it's intended basically to keep you on the edge of your seat as you try to work your way through these levels and uncover the secrets or the mystery behind the story that they're telling here.
This one is super cool. I found the dev, or the dev found us, a while back, and I've kind of seen the progression of where this game has come from over the last 6 months, and it's super cool. This is a high fidelity Steam game that is meant to be a good looking Steam game. It's going to be a Steam game, right? It's all about visuals. It's all about atmosphere and story and the intensity of the game. And I'm hopeful, man. It sounds like, from the beginning, when I talked to them, they had a great idea for a story for this game, to have a really good, story arc that would kind of pull you in, and then the intensity and the atmosphere was going to bring you along for the ride for it. So I think visual fidelity, it's going to be there, and I think it has a good story hook to go with it. So I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, the story's cool. It's set in 1930s, and you basically, well, I guess I should say this: the demo that's on the Steam store is not a level from the game, but is rather a playable prequel. So, the events that take place during the demo set the stage for the story that they're going to be telling in the main game. So you're basically returning to your home island. It's like a Norse island, and it's a fishing community, right, where they catch and process fish. It's one of those areas like in that game Lies Beneath. You go down to the docks and there's lots of boats hanging around and fish everywhere. It's that type of setting. Anyway, you come back to your island to find it basically abandoned and devoid of life. You can tell something very bad has gone down here and claimed the lives of everyone, all the families that lived on the island.
Already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
creepy.
There's a presence on the island that is stalking you, but you can't ever manage to get your eyes on it. It's watching you, but you can't see it, at least as the story begins. And the whole hook here is, playing your way through, trying to find clues, trying to find out what happened here, and all at the same time while trying to stay alive. The cool thing, the gameplay concept itself is not new. This is something, it's a pretty typical stealth survival horror where like I described before, you're trying to be quiet, you're trying not to shine light so that the thing doesn't come and attack you. What sets it a little bit apart from earlier plays on this genre is the storytelling mechanic. So like there are story sequences that are like voice acted that you'll find throughout the campaign through these like spirits that you can see, but you can't fully see them until you shine your flashlight on it. Like you'll see like a little twinkle or something, and then when you put your flashlight on it, the thing kind of takes a human form. It comes to life, and then it starts this voice acted sequence that reveals part of the story to you. So you literally use your flashlight to make the story unfold. The catch is when you take your flashlight out and turn it on, then the monster can see you. The things that you're hiding from and not trying to attract its attention, you literally have to attract its attention to get the story. So you're constantly trying to find your moment, that you can flash your light without being seen, and it creates a really tense scenario for you to have to continue to play through as you, again, unfold the mystery here.
Is there somebody wanted to know if there's any means of defending yourself, or is this one of those ones where you're pretty much just trying to be stealth and not be seen?
I think, again, I've only played the demo. I haven't played the main game, but I think if this thing comes after you, you're done. I mean, I think you can run away from it. I think you can run away from it if it's after you, but if after it grabs you, there's no fighting back. You're dead.
It's kind of like that one, the one where we had to sneak away, where she had the asthma and stuff.
That was good.
Yeah, Home Sweet Home.
No, not Home Sweet Home. The one that was a UEVR mod. Where
I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, I remember. I don't
remember
remember the name, but I remember the game.
It was good. It was done very well. So.
Yeah, this one. There's no weapons in this one. There's no you can't protect yourself. You have to run or hide. That's the only thing you can do.
Yeah, there are cabinets you can get inside of. There are dark areas. Again, it's all about watching your step. Not breaking things, not knocking things over to make noise, and not shining light at the wrong moment. Anyway, it's a free demo. It's available on Steam right now. Full disclosure, this is an Impact Reality client. It is one of the things that I've been working on. And as such, I will just share with you that it's extremely important to these indie developers that people download and try this demo. So please, in lieu of our usual wish list segment that we typically would have at the end of the show, where we ask people to go wish list a game, go download this demo and try it out. Again, it's only about 15 or 20 minutes to play through it, but it is PCVR exclusive. And when you ask the developer, why are you doing a PC exclusive in 2025, it's because the game that they want to make isn't possible on standalone.
Right.
They're going for a very high level of visual quality here, and that it could definitely come to other platforms in the future, but right now they're just focusing on PCVR, and if you can appreciate that, then you should support them. Go wishlist, go download and play the demo. Leave reviews, do all that good stuff, please.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Here's your shot. Here's your chance to help shape a game. You have a developer that wants to hear your feedback with this demo that's still actively working on it, and maybe there's something in there that you can help tweak and make this game the amazing game that it looks like. So
yeah, very much so. Assuming that everything goes well with this demo, they're going to be working on the full game from this point forward, and very much looking for feedback from the community on ways to improve. So yeah, go play the demo, join the Discord. The developers are very accessible. You just tag them on there and tell them what you'd like to see in the game, and chances are you'll end up seeing it.
I just wanted to shout out Awesome Tatum because he just finally got here. He wasn't here at the beginning, because I was mentioning how you were talking about a tumbleweed and a virtual stranger's tumbleweed in the Discord. So I shout you out for that, Tatum, but we're glad you made it.
What's up, Tatum? Tatum showed up in Boston as well, Roots. He
cool.
actually dedicated, so dedicated, he brought his wife and kids in there, and they were ready to go. Like from the moment they got there, they were ready to go. Those kids were so tired. But he stuck it out, man. He stayed through our entire episode that we recorded there in the lobby, and it was really cool to get to meet Tatum. So I'm glad you swung by, brother. It was good seeing you.
Not a knock at anybody's family or friends or whatever, but if I traveled all that way, I'm staying for the fucking show. At least the show, like Tatum did. You know what I mean? Like, you can sit there and you can give me your sour look the entire time. We traveled all this way, so we're doing it.
Shout out to Tatum and his lovely family for.
I missed him, so I must have been gone by the time he got there.
He showed up on the day that we did the episode.
And that was what, like, Friday or Saturday? You guys did it Saturday?
It was Saturday.
Saturday, yeah. I left early Saturday morning, so I missed
him. Anyways, we move along to another significant demo available on Steam at the moment of Lies and Rain. This is the title I was referring to earlier when we were talking about how developers can have the nice polished 4 to 6 hour experience on their first game, but on their second we like to see some progression. This is the definition of progression. Ruuts, this demo, this upcoming game is being brought to us by the good people at Costello. And if you don't remember who Costello is, they're the small indie dev team that brought us the arcade shooter Arcane Age. Remember Arcade? The like retro shooter that was all like red and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is from those devs. And I mean, not that Arcane Age wasn't awesome. It was really fun. This is night and day step up in terms of quality from one title to the next. This is ridiculous. Just how crazy advanced this game is compared to their last one. And having checked out the demo before we went live on the show today, I'm excited for this one, Roots. This is like a proper Half-Life inspired sci-fi shooter, and what they're showing here so far seems to be really good stuff.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Looks like the scenery is pretty good, gameplay as well. So I'll definitely have to check this out.
Lies and Alex.
Right, exactly. It's very Half-Life. Alex.
Oh my god! I mean, which is not a bad thing. I mean,
no.
If you're gonna emulate a game, I guess choose that one.
Well, if it works, right, mean, here's the thing: every good game is going to be copied to some extent. It's just kind of like Lies of P. You kind of need to make it your own, and of some sort, right? And make it like that game, but then kind of tweak it. So, if it's its own, that's cool.
I mean, the story might end up differentiating itself from the Half-Life story. Obviously, there's a lot more to come on that. But the story here is kind of you just wake up in this kind of ruined facility. You're completely amnesiac. You have amnesia. You don't know who you are. You have a lady operator talking to you through an earpiece, kind of trying to help jog your memory to tell you who you are. But the idea is that you're what they call like a data form. Which allows you not only to exist in the physical realm, but you can also kind of port into this alternate dimension, which feels like Tron. It's like a retro futuristic sci-fi look to it, kind of like the training areas in Stride Fates. You know how everything's blocky, and you can teleport into this like data world. And that is so cool and so fun and very different than anything Half-Life Alyx did. So you have, a gun kind of mounted on your right hand, which is a pretty straightforward, like plasma gun style weapon. You can shoot rapid fire with it, or you can hold the button to charge up like big shots out of it. But what I really liked about the data realm in this was the gravity gun. And what the gravity gun does is it's essentially a jump feature. You charge it up and then you let the trigger go to jump. But Roots, this thing throws you 50 feet into the air, and it goes in whatever direction you're pointing at when you let the trigger go. And it throws you like 50 feet in the air, and then you can do it again midair. And so it's got an awesome double jump right off the top. And there's progression in this game like Half-Life Alyx style progression. You're looking for what they call GPUs, and it would be the equivalent of Half-Life Alyx's resin, right? You have to find resin to upgrade. You have to do the same thing in this, only they call it GPU instead of resin. Anyway, the GPU allows you to upgrade your abilities and your equipment, including the gravity gun. So your double jump can become a triple jump.
Oh God!
And anyway, I'm super impressed with this demo. Not only does it have a cool story with nice voice acting, it's got great visuals. The gunplay feels solid, but the movement and physics in this game are exceptional, and I feel that kind of where it stands apart. Eric, I'm not sure. Did you get a chance to play this demo yet?
I didn't play it. I downloaded it, and I was going to try and play it, and I just ran out of time. But I'd watched some videos on it, and that's where I can kind of see exactly what it looks like. It looks super polished. It looks like some of the interactions maybe are a little janky, but like from what I saw, it definitely looks very, very polished. Very much Half-Life Alyx, even down to the kind of the weapons that you kind of have in the beginning. But I think it looks great. Like I don't know. Again, for me, if you're going to emulate a great game like Half-Life Alyx. If they nail the story and the gameplay is really, really good, which it does look like it, I'm excited for this game. This looks like it has possibilities of like game of the year kind of game.
Yeah, it definitely could end up in that conversation. I feel like it has that kind of potential. Again, I kind of get dragged back into that conversation we were having around Into the Darkness earlier. Like, I am very confident that this is going to be an exceptional game to play, an exceptional experience. Am I going to be done with it in 5 hours or 10 or 15? That's kind of my big question now. Is this like Half-Life Alyx was great? It took 20 hours to play through it. You know what I mean? Like that's why that's an epic experience, or one of the reasons. But this is very similar to that, and I agree. If you're going to take inspiration from another game, why not take inspiration from the one game that everyone thinks is like among the best? A lot of people would tell you it is the best VR game. I don't think so, but it's certainly among the best in terms of production and polish. And while obviously this small indie studio is not going to be able to match the polish that's on a Valve release, it is very polished and fun to play, and the story seems cool. Again, I didn't have a whole lot negative to say about it coming out of this demo, and it's free right now on Steam. About an hour of gameplay for free. So I don't know if this is something that's going to be a limited time. So definitely check it out while you still can. And a game that's coming to Quest. And for what it's worth, as good as this game looks, and you can tell that it's a very good looking game, you can also tell from the geometry in the game that they are developing it with Quest in mind. So while I'm sure it will take a step back graphically on Quest, certainly in terms of post-processing effects, I think that this game could potentially look pretty good on that system as well. It seems like they're building the environments in a proper way to be able to deliver high quality visuals on lesser hardware.
Yeah, my thought is if the gameplay is good and the story is even mediocre, it's going to be better than Half-Life Alyx, because of the story will be actually good instead of the Half-Life narrative of that world, which is, I think, is a little overrated.
How dare you?
for all the fanboys like Jim Hall, right?
Bart Grudzian is in the chat. He says Silent Hill 2 Prey Dog mod is one of the best gaming experiences of my life.
There you go, Wes. Wes is ready.
Yeah.
He's got one more obligation, and then he's free.
Mark Pringlesleaf in the chat says Arcane Age is one of the best VR games for me. Arcane Age is a perfect example of exactly what we're talking about. So those guys came out in 2016 with Mervils. You guys remember Mervils? Like a platformer? It was like a Gen 1 VR platformer, which was okay for its time, but in 2025, not a whole lot of people still playing Mervils. They went from Mervils to Shadow Legend VR, which was kind of the alternative to Skyrim at the time, which didn't have the obvious open world giant scope that Skyrim had. But what it had a very small slice of what that type of game could be. So it was very immersive, a lot of like firsthand VR interactions, kind of have their origin in that title. So Shadow Legend was a groundbreaking title for its time, in the level of detail in the experience. We hadn't seen a lot of games at that point that did a lot of the things it did. Anyway, from Mervils to Shadow Legend was a big jump up in terms of quality. With Shadow Legend, they put out this high quality experience. The big criticism of Shadow Legend is that it was just too small, right? Like it was a slice of what felt like could have been a much bigger game. So they go on from Shadow Legend now to Arcane Age, and now it comes all together on their third release. From Mervils to Shadow Legend to Arcane Age. Arcane Age is 12 to 15 hour or more experience that's just completely polished out in every facet, with awesome progression and just fun to play minute to minute. A lot of replayability just because of all the different weapon combinations you can come up with and all the different things that you can find in the world.
They nailed the movement too. Just feels so good, right?
Everything's great. So I'm hoping that's what we're seeing here from Costello as they move from Arcane to now this of Lies and Rain. We're looking forward to seeing more of this game when it launches into early access, I think later this year. Bart Goodsian says, I think you guys should really consider Big Screen Beyond 2. Even the 1 is a massive step up from PlayStation. The clarity is way better than PSVR 2 and zero Mira. That's probably true. In a lot of cases, the Quest 3, in terms of sharpness, is a step up from PSVR 2. But with that said, all of these games I've been playing on my 5090, the Talos Principle and Lies of P and of Lies and Rain and all this stuff I've been playing on Steam VR, I've been playing in my PSVR 2 headset. And let me tell you, man, there hasn't been any Mira. Like, I know that sometimes there is on some games, and some games there's not. The games I've been playing in this thing have been super sharp, like surprisingly sharp, and no Mira. So I think, at least to some extent, playing on console is bringing out the worst in the headset in some cases.
Right. It's not powerful
because
enough to really push it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, some games do. Some games do. Like, if you play The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2, the best, sharpest version of that game is on PlayStation 5, actually. And there are a few others. But then there are other games that you wonder what's like, for example, The Midnight Walk. The Midnight Walk's a beautiful game, but you play it on PlayStation and it's like there's gray blacks and Mira everywhere. Like, it makes you wonder, like, what's the difference? How come some studios can make a game be super sharp with no mirror, and then other studios it's just like a sore thumb.
Well,
Talent and time, and with some developers, laziness.
All the above, Ruuts, all the above.
Yeah.
Anyways, Big Screen Beyond 2 looks really cool.
I am considering it when I have money. Even over the Deckard, if and I don't know much about the Deckard, but the fact that it's wireless is a turnoff to me.
Here's the biggest problem with big screen, and I'm not saying it's not a good headset. It's a good headset. The problem is like, you know, it does nothing but like that. Like, not that you have to still get controllers. You have to make sure you have base stations. Like, those times are pretty much over. Like, I don't for me, like even now, like I wouldn't go buy the big screen beyond. And I got most headsets that you see, but like, am I setting base stations up again? No, I'm not. Like, those times are over. The Valve Deckard is not going to ship with base stations, and it's going to ship with controllers. Like, so for me, like the big screen beyond, while it may be, you know, a superior, small, great screened headset, the limitations now with the price point that it is, like, it's so minimal that like I don't understand why anybody would go buy it. Now, I would hold on for the Valve. If you want a superior headset, then I would wait for the Valve Deckard. Like, I can't see why you'd go buy the big screen beyond right
now. What's the size difference? Because I want the lightest, smallest headset that exists that still has the fidelity, that's direct connected, that has nothing to do with wireless.
No, it'll be smaller than that, than the Deckard, but the Deckard's also going to be standalone, which, you know.
But I don't want standalone.
No, but I'm just telling you that, like, for what you're saying, what you want, I guess maybe that is probably and you don't mind going back to base stations and going and buy controllers separately. It may be the best headset that you're going to get for the smallest, you know. But 90% of the market out there would prefer to have a standalone with their headset, and they want to have controllers, and they don't want to set base stations up.
Yeah, I just don't mind. I don't mind. I and honestly, and I say this all the time, but legitimately, I cannot even tell you the last time I played a game that was wireless. And I'm talking like without being connected to the computer. Like, I'm talking a year and a half, 2 years. Like, I just don't do wireless. You know what I mean? And so if I'm not interested in wireless, I'm not interested in the mixed reality bullshit. I think for my case, like you said, it makes more sense to get something that's specifically PC, the smallest footprint form factor that's going to be on my face. It's going to be OLED. And I don't know. This is without knowing much about the Deckard, except for the fact that it's standalone. And that one factor alone puts it down like 3 notches for me. That's just how I feel. I just don't care about wireless. I don't want to be limited by their hardware. And I know that you're going to be able to connect it. And maybe it's got a really good DP, you know, display port, and it's even better. I don't know. Maybe I changed my mind. But right now, if I had the choice, I would go out and buy. Because I don't care about the base stations. That's not, it's inconsequential for me outside of costing more money. That's the one factor.
Well, and but there's also something that you hate too, which is like friction. That's friction. Like,
but once
making
it's set
sure
up,
that all that shit works well. Like, I mean, the biggest problem with Pimax is because it doesn't always work. Like, in their software sucks. And like,
and maybe Valve's headset will be different, but I deal with so much friction because of so much more friction with that headset, with the Quest headset because it's standalone and PC. There's a weird jank that comes with it that doesn't exist with my direct connected PC old school headsets, whether it be the Rift or the Rift S. It didn't have those issues. It had its own different issues because it's meta, but it didn't have the specific issues that seems to come with standalone. And I'm trying to get away from that jank. You know what I mean? So that's just my opinion. As far as I've thought about it a lot. And the only factor where Big Screen Beyond would be like less desirable to me is if I was like concerned about money, which I'm not. Then it would be, because obviously you got to buy extra shit. You got to buy your base stations, your controllers, I just want the superior experience, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy a headset right now with all the ones that are about to drop over the next year. If I were, it would either be the Big Screen Beyond 2 or the Pimax Crystal Super that just came out, because I know it is Pimax, and there is bullshit that comes with that. Also, though, Pimax is still doing something that no one else is doing, and that is um, more field of view. And I wish that Meta and Sony and some of these other headset manufacturers would start exploring that realm a little bit more. I know they want the headsets to get smaller. Um, to me, that just means that they need to be more creative in coming up with solutions that offer wider field of view, because that's one of the I think that's one of the last big thresholds that VR has in terms of immersion. Is is the visuals are plenty clear now and sharp, but you never lose that feeling that you're looking through binoculars. I want that to go away. I want my whole field of view to be full. And Pimax, for all of its faults, at least they're trying to deliver something in that.
And their software is better, way better than it used to be.
They may be trying, but they are, in my opinion, the sketchiest company that I would ever want to do business with. Like, even somebody was saying in the chat that Bart Grudzian says the big screen too is also refundable. I'm assuming alluding to the Pimax, like, you better hope you like it, because they're not going to easily give you any help from what I've seen. And maybe it's gotten better since, but like, they became like the company I would never buy from a couple years ago, because they just kept being shady. And then the next headset is shady. And then they put out another headset before they made the one that they took money from before. It just, I can't pass up an opportunity without saying shit about
what I would say is that the biggest thing with this is, I don't know if there's a headset out there that I would go buy right now. I'm hearing you on Pimax, but I'm not sold on the big screen. Big screen, to be honest, $1,500 plus I need base stations, plus I need controllers.
Yeah,
that's a lot of
for
money.
me, for everything that I need, as someone who doesn't have base stations or existing controllers, I looked at it like it would. For everything that I need and want, it would be like $1,700 plus.
That's a lot of money, man. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
How much was the Pimax? I mean, the Apple Vision Pro.
4,000.
Okay, so I don't want to hear 1,700's a lot. It is a lot compared to other ones.
It is a lot for what you're going to get out of it. Like, again, the Apple Vision Pro is not meant to be a VR headset. The Apple Vision Pro is meant to be, a computing headset. Whether and again, like, I'm stupid. Trust me. I'm not saying I'm not stupid. Like, I went out and bought the Apple Vision Pro, but I still use it. I used it just the other day. But that's more of it's an entertainment headset that you can also do computing on. It's got a MacBook Pro, a MacBook Pro chip in it. You know what I mean? The M2 chips in it. So it's a little bit different. Like, and I'm not saying it's a headset anybody should go buy, but I wouldn't compare those two. I would compare it more to, like, maybe the Pimax, and what that is.
Bart says the big screen Beyond 2 is 1,000, so I'm assuming that's the base headset, and then you buy the right. So I mean, it's really a good deal.
It's all upgrades though, because the eye tracking is 200, and like, if you start pricing it out, like, it's before you even get to controllers or base stations, it's more than 1,000.
You got to buy controllers, you got to buy base stations, you got to buy the audio strap.
Yep.
And like you said, the eye tracking's optional, but most people are going to want that too.
Yeah, if you bought a Vive in 2016 or any of the other headsets, you've already got the base stations, and it won't be as expensive. And it seems like they're being supported still through different headsets, even Pimax, so it's not like you're going to get them. I don't know. My mindset is, if money is a concern, absolutely. Why would you even look at it? If money's not a concern, I think it looks like, probably to me, could be the best headset out there. I'm really concerned about how I feel 3 hours in, 4 hours in, an hour in, 2 hours in. Like, that matters to me. I want the smaller headset. I'm not trying to go, like Wes was saying, Pimax is bigger. I'm trying to go smaller. So I see where they're going, and I think I saw a Linus video. Okay, he said it's the best. It's the best. Like, I don't even know why you guys are debating it.
I'm not saying it's not a good headset. I'm sure it's a great headset, but like again, with you, it's all friction roots. I just can't see the first time that you go to hook those base stations up, and you look and something's wrong, or they, we know how much friction there is with that type of technology. Nothing works great or easy. Like, I'm not saying that there aren't other issues. It's just like, again, I don't know. I have base stations from my Valve Index here somewhere, but I'm just thinking about, okay, now I got to go figure out where am I putting my base stations? What am I putting them on? Where am I putting them? Like, that's a whole bunch of trouble.
Yeah, you're limited in space too. You got so much shit back there.
I'm just like, but it's not even that. It's like, yeah, I could do it. Like, but do I want to? Like, am I going to, or am I just going to grab my Quest 3 and go throw it on, or my PlayStation and go do it without having to do all that shit?
That's the thing. Like, if I had money to burn, that it would be different. But I'm really happy with my setup right now. I've got 3 viable current gen headsets that I can use for PCVR gaming. Right. I've got my PlayStation VR 2, which is my go-to. That's my daily driver. I know Bart in the chat said that it's not sharp enough for UEVR games, but let me tell you something, man. Like, yes, it's Pentile. Yes, they use a diffusion layer. But I also have HP Reverb G2, which doesn't have any of that. It's got RGB set up with no diffusion layer. And yes, it is a little sharper head-to-head versus PSVR 2. But let me tell you, that PSVR 2 visually looks a lot better. You can't short sell the difference that HDR OLED panel makes. Most of these games look really, really good. And if there is compatibility issues with those two, then I can always reach over and grab my Quest 3. And, that takes care of the outlier situations, as rare as they may be. They do pop up from time to time. But there's 3 headsets. All of them you can pick up for $400 to $500 right now, and have a great PCVR experience with it. So I'm not like running to go spend another $1,500 to get a little bit of a res bump, if there even is much of a res bump from what I'm using right now.
I don't think
I need a real upgrade.
I don't think it would be all res bump. I think there'd be a lot of differences that you could add. Well, for one, eye tracking, that if you paid for it, that is accessible, and you can't do that on PlayStation VR 2, right? It's there, but they don't have the software to run it.
Something I don't really care about. The only real application for eye tracking on PC today is if you're going into stuff like VR chat, that you want to have that realism of having your eyes looking in game where you're looking in real life. It's not like, native PSVR games where there's dynamic foveated rendering that makes the game work and look a lot better. That's just not a thing on PC right now. Now, hopefully in a couple of years it is. But yeah, right now it's just not anything I'm really concerned with.
Bart says micro OLED is just so good. It's just so much better than Quest 3 Pimax Crystal. That's all he has for now. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I think, like I said, if money is a concern for you, I don't even know why you would even consider looking at the big screen beyond.
Oh, again, we know all of these headsets are coming. There's a Samsung headset coming. There's a Google headset coming.
Right.
There's the Valve Deckard coming. Like, and Meta 4. That's going to probably come next year as well.
Right.
But I wouldn't spend money on a headset right now. If you've got something serviceable, I would ride it out a little bit longer. That reminds me, Ruuts, we completely skipped over the hardware.
Yeah, the hardware. That's why there was a hiccup in the beginning, because I was switched over to that scene, and then you went to the games, and I was like, oh shit,
yeah,
let me switch.
Yeah, my bad. I don't know. I just those two topics were invisible to me. I just didn't see them. Went right past them. Anyway, with that said, I think we've been on the air about 2 hours now. We do have 4 more headlines. I'm just going to run through the rest of these really quickly. Spend about 5 minutes on each one of them and call it a show. Moving on. Crossings announced during the Creature Feature Showcase 2025. This is the next title from the studio that brought us Budget Cuts, Neat Corporation, from Sweden. This is a co-op roguelike that takes you through an ever-changing world in a quest for vengeance and survival in an epic adventure through the Norse afterlife. Meet fellow lost souls in seamless and wordless VR co-op as you block, dodge, strike, and power your way through trolls, Draugr, and other dark beings. Eric, I like the art direction of this and the whole vibe that they've got going on here, this fantasy thing. The early gameplay looks pretty cool. Looks like you've got this hack and slash roguelite stuff going on, reminiscent of games like Until You Fall or something like that. That's all well and good. I think there's potential here. On the other hand, they say seamless and wordless VR co-op, which makes it sound to me like they're doing a co-op game with no in-game chat. I don't know how I feel about that.
So weird. Like that is such a bit such a red flag. I mean, I don't know.
He waved though.
Yeah, maybe it's like miming. I don't know. You can't have co-op with no. Come on. Like if I have to do some other type of voice chat in your game, I mean, nowadays, like what? Like I don't understand.
Hopefully it's just optional. I get why they're doing it. They're doing it so you can play with randos and not be completely fucking annoyed. Like most people won't play with random people because you don't want to talk to a stranger, man. That's just like a whole other level of having to be dialed in mentally. Whereas if you're playing with mics off, then it's just another person in there that's trying to help you, and you don't have to make small talk or, talk to some dumbass, that obviously don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. You don't have to deal with any of that if the mic's off. But on the other hand, like, why do you want to go play co-op with randos anyway? Like, if I'm going into a co-op game, it's because I want to spend time with a family member or a friend. And if I'm going to spend time with a family member or a friend, I'm going to want to talk to them. So hopefully it's just optional, and it's like maybe they default to having mic turned off, but hopefully they let you turn it on.
Yeah, it would be weird if they don't like at least have it as an option. Like there's just, I don't know, if you're going to do multiplayer, you got to be able to talk, especially if you're with with other people. I mean, we've seen that like in other multiplayer games where they frustrate people getting together and they just don't play them anymore. Like, what was that shooter that came out from? It came out from the guys who did the PlayStation shooter. That they opened up with multiplayer. You couldn't communicate and you couldn't team up with anybody, and it absolutely killed the game early on. You know which one I'm talking about?
I remember there was another game that had co-op, but you couldn't co-op with your friends.
Yeah.
Or
you couldn't team up.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about from First Contact Entertainment.
Yes, from First Contact. Yeah, it was that game, Solaris.
Solaris, yeah.
Solaris.
I'm thinking of that. What was that game, Ruuts, where like you go into it with a friend, but you can't go. It was anonymous, and you couldn't talk to them, and like there was a stage.
Yeah,
there were live actors.
Live actors. Yeah, what was the name of that?
Oh,
thing?
was that the Under
called
Presents?
like
but that was
that
was by design, but that was even a little weird. Now I could probably do it if I like went in here and I just like pretended and said, okay, I'm gonna role play. Okay, Wes, we're both mutes and we're deaf. And, okay, well now it makes sense. Now we're like we're struggling. We got to get through this cave, but we can't communicate. How do you do it? Well, let's mime. Let's, you know what I mean? Like we can just go the old school military, hand gestures and stuff. It'll work. It's good to go.
Anyway, I like the art direction and vibe of it. Some of the gesture-based stuff they're showing off in the trailer looks like it's pretty cool. Even though they obviously still have some animation work that needs to be done in terms of visual polish. Um, a little concerned about the inability to communicate with your co-op friend. Obviously, concerned about the roguelike aspects. It seems like every game's a roguelike now. But then again, if roguelite's done well, it's still really awesome.
As long as it's unique,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So hopefully it's cool. Again, the studio has a little bit of pedigree here. Neat Corp. They've been in the space for a while. They know what they're doing. So yeah, this is one I'll have my eye on going forward. Moving along to the next topic, we have Starvault. Starvault brings classic MOBA action to the MetaQuest platform. This is a first-person massive online battle arena that offers up large 5 versus 5 battles, letting you choose from 9 unique heroes, each with their own weapons, skills, and playstyles. Like traditional MOBAs, Starvault is all about pushing enemy lanes, destroying towers, and capturing strongholds to gain strategic map control. I was wondering when we were going to start seeing more of these games in VR. There's a big push toward social games and free to play. And Eric, it's titles like this that have been dominating the flat space for the last 5+ years. I thought we would see stuff like this in VR sooner, but obviously, games like this, you can't come light. Like, we can't have a VR light version of a game like this and have it work. You have to come fully prepared with tons of different character classes and content, endless progression loops. You got to be ready for all of that to have a game like this that works. And at least on face value, this seems like a pretty polished experience, given that it's in an early beta state right now. I think that this genre in general has potential in VR because we haven't really seen anyone that has had that big hit yet with a MOBA in VR. I don't know if this one's it, but I can definitely see why they're trying and why they're going this route.
Yeah, I mean, it looks super cool. I mean, the biggest problem with these types of games with virtual reality is the size and scope of them that you normally need. Like why they work, in traditional gaming is because they're deep and they're huge and like it's a universe with like deep gameplay and all these different aspects in here, and it's so hard to do that in a virtual reality game. Ask Zenith, you know what I mean, which is a little bit different type of game, but I mean, still, it's the same problem. They couldn't get enough in the game to keep it alive. So I mean, I hope that there's enough here. Like when the first company that figures out how to do this to where you have, this type of, deep, huge universe world, all these people in here, and they can actually have enough content in here. The ones that figure that out, it's going to be an insane thing though, that everybody will probably try and get into, but we just haven't seen it yet. But this one looks pretty damn cool, man. But I don't know, it makes me nervous that I don't know if we're there yet. Like, I don't know if we're ready for it.
Yeah. I don't know if the market's there yet. It's not that the tech's not there, and that it's impossible to make a game like this in VR. But I think to make a game like this in VR and make it be successful, you probably have to spend 5 years in development before you come out in early access, and beyond that, with the amount of players that are in VR right now, I think you pretty much have to come from the jump and be multi-platform with crossplay right out the gate, right? I mean, I guess for this beta test or whatever they're running right now, they're fine. Just launching on Quest, free to play. You can play it right now for free on your Quest. But I'm hoping that they've put in the work already, and that this thing has got endless content ready to go out the box from the jump. Ruuts, you're more well versed in flat games. I'm trying to put a finger on the flat game that this reminds me of, but
League of
I
Legends.
can't. Is that what it is? League of Legends?
As far as the lanes go and stuff. And I think that's kind of the problem that this kind of game has. Same thing like you were saying with Zenith Mash is like in the flat game world, at least, there's not many MMOs that actually work or succeed. And there's not many games like this that come out that work and succeed. And the ones that do, they're very few and far between, and they're really good. And so it's going to be difficult to do it and to do it right in the flat world. And keep that, in the VR world, and keep that that depth and everything that you guys were saying. And so it does look cool, and at some point it doesn't need to be League of Legends, but I kind of feel like that's when this kind of game is going to be successful. Kind of like when is an MMO really going to be successful? It's when Final Fantasy releases into VR direct, or WoW comes direct. The best comes direct. It may be League of Legends needs to come into VR direct. You know what I mean? And give you that actual. It's so well fleshed out and so well thought out. But a game like this, what they could do is try to take as much inspiration from a League of Legends as far as like how things are working, but then make it your own. And that would be the approach. Yeah. But that's my biggest concern is like, can it live up to what people that love these kind of games would want it to be, right? So
yeah, and I think you kind of touched on something there that would be super useful. I feel like, and that is not make this just a native VR game, but develop it from the very beginning. As a game that can be played both in VR and outside of VR, and that way, you don't have the player base problem, right? If you launch it on flat platforms, you should be able to draw enough attention to keep players in your lobby at the very least.
You could even like if it progressed far enough, and like say League of Legends did come into VR, you could have like tournaments that are VR versus flat, which is better, which is the superior way to play it, right? Which has advantages and doesn't, that would be kind of cool. And I would think that would be something that would get some traction, So.
Cerebral Frost in the chat says you can't just rely solely on the player base. You have to have a game that works with a lower player count as well.
Right.
And that reminds me, Dan, while you're here and while I know I've got your attention, I was telling Eric this the other day, and I just want to say it so that you start thinking about it too. I really think that you should make a free-to-play version of To the Top, where you like it has the same gameplay mechanics and maps and stuff from the original To the Top, but you maybe build out the multiplayer and co-op networking end of it a little bit better, so that people can have more freedom in terms of their avatar, and maybe have some central areas where or just like free play areas where people can congregate and talk and just kind of run around the gym, so to speak. But have like the To the Top, worlds that you can jump into, levels, and play through together with your friends. I think it could be really successful in today's marketplace. Yeah.
I agree. I was just going to comment like what Ruuts was saying, and I think you were saying it too, Wes. Like I believe, and I'm very much rooting for this game, but I do believe you're going to need an IP to get to where we would want to be for this. Like I think you would need League of Legends or something of that name to get enough people in, and then have enough depth in it to make it work. I don't know if built from the ground up VR game with an original IP will have enough.
Larcenauts was awesome, right? Larcenauts was awesome, but nobody played it.
Nope.
Right.
It was great. I loved Larcenauts. The gameplay was great. There was nothing wrong with that game. Literally, was nothing wrong with that game, other than the fact that if they had put a name on it that was like out there that was an IP, you would have had more people playing it, and like it would have lasted at least longer. You know what I mean? Because the idea of it was great. But yeah, I think it. And here's the other thing too. With games like this, I'm very much in the fact of like what Ruuts was saying too, that sometimes you need to be able to play these things flat also. So like there are games like this, or any kind of huge multiplayer game online, or a world game where you have to grind and do things that I don't want to do in VR. But if you let me do it in front of my computer and that transfers over to the VR game or mobile, that makes a big difference. So like there are things where like I don't want to chop wood in VR for 4 hours to build up my skill point. But would I do it on my phone when I'm just sitting around doing nothing? Yeah, people do it all the time. Because it's easy, because I can eat popcorn, or I can drink my drink, or I can, I can do it while I'm riding the subway to work. You know what I mean? And you can grind. It's easy to do on your phone or on your laptop or on your PC. But the problem is with VR is you don't want that carryover. So grinding in VR is not an easy thing to do. So if you find that mix where you could have a flat game or a mobile game be part of that universe where you could do it in a crossover, and like the stuff that you do flat, transfers to your VR game. I think that's how you do it.
Right.
That and an IP, I think could really do it. You ever got World of Warcraft actually in VR, like actual World of Warcraft? It would be huge.
Well, and that's the thing is like even with the mod that we did play, the World of Warcraft, I felt like I couldn't really raid in VR very easily, but I could do it flat. And so, like what you're saying, because I have the options, I can do the best of both worlds. I can maybe raid flat, and then when I want to explore and check out the world and level, experienced leveling was amazing in VR. Having the options to do both, I think is really the key, where you can kind of swap, go back and forth, and then maybe, like you said, you jump on your phone when you're going to the bathroom to get all the tedious shit out of the way, because you don't want to be farming wood when you're, in virtual reality. So,
Agree wholeheartedly, and again, hopefully, these are the type of experiences we see the market kind of bring to us as we continue to try to find our identity in this time of transition. Someone said, Bad Robo said, just give us Destiny on PSVR 2.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't remember what the name of it was, but one of these titles in the extras section in the notes reminded me a lot of Destiny 2. Now, obviously, it's not a AAA game with that type of depth and polish to it, but there's a new VR game that's coming up that had a lot of Destiny flavor to it when I was checking
Destiny
it out.
2 would be amazing in VR, even just if you use the controller as it is. It's just so good, so fun to raid with people and do the dungeons and stuff. It's a really well fleshed out game.
Yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer for Sony. If they wanted to really sell some headsets, they could do it with that.
Give me a call.
And creating that narrative between friends, and like, dude, we're playing together, and I'm like, man, you need to get your fucking headset, bro. You have no idea what you're missing. They're playing on their TV, slumming it, looking through the window, and I'm telling them every week, bro, you need to do this. Eventually, they get it, pulls them in, right? I think it would be smart.
Anyways, let's move along and put a bow on this by talking really quickly about a couple of mixed reality projects that I noticed. The first one is called Alex and the Jets, and this is a really cartoony dogfighting mixed reality game that basically puts the action right in the room with you. The reason why I highlighted this one this week is because when I think to myself what Nintendo VR might look like, this is the type of stuff that I see. Like, this looks like a pack-in title for a Nintendo MR headset to me. And while I'm sure that this Alex and the Jets is a fun experience to sit in your room and play alone, I think that the potential for something like this and co-location co-op or co-location multiplayer, I think this could be a lot of fun. Eric, if you had 3 or 4 people sitting in the same room, like all looking at this and dogfighting in the middle of the room, I mean, I think that that's the type of family fun that anybody would buy into. Like, I think there's a lot of potential for this concept.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're getting closer. We're getting closer to these things where I think they'll be better and more mainstream, and like fully fleshed out games that can be super fun, or maybe like family night games, stuff like that. I think they're cool. I mean, it's all a process with mixed reality. There's some really good stuff out there, and then there's some tech stuff out there. This one looks like it's a little bit more fleshed out. I like it. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah. We're all still in the tech demo time frame when it comes to mixed reality, and that's often kind of the precursor to my highlighting any of these is more in the context of the direction that we're moving and where we could go with it more than looking at this game specifically and saying, hey, this looks awesome. Roots, hopefully you get the groove that I'm laying down here. Like, sure, this could be fun, but again, for me, it's more about what this concept could be in 5 years.
Yeah, no, it's definitely cool. I don't. Somebody said in the chat, I always look at it from perspective of when my kids were little, and they would have loved this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not everything's made for adults, and this thing looks like it would be a great kids game and something to. I mean, I don't know what about progression or what it is, but it could be really cool. Like the progression could be pretty deep as far as level wise, and so hopefully they'll have an option for where it's like actually has a regular VR mode as well. But I think even just the mixed reality mode looks pretty cool. So
I thought it looked cool. Again, it just reeks of Nintendo to me when I look at something like this. It's like, yeah, this looks like a 3DS game in your living room, essentially. And lastly, we would be remiss if we were talking about mixed reality if we didn't bring up another huge IP coming to the VR landscape. How did we ever live without the Smurfs in VR? Roots, I mean, I get it. It's mixed reality and it's gimmicky and tech demo-y, but it's still pretty cool to see Gargamel coming into your living room. You got to see that, right?
all the Smurfs. If you're a big Smurfs fan, I think this would be pretty cool. The fact that they're like small size and you're a bigger size, it's going to make you feel like they're really Smurfs. When I saw this, you know, I'm not a big tower defense guy. It looks pretty cool, like for a tower defense game, and for people that love those games, that's great. What I would love this to be would be that what's that new flat game that's like The Sims, Izios or whatever it's called, with the AI and stuff.
Oh,
but I want
yeah,
it to
know
be
which
the
one you-
Smurfs
Enzoi.
world.
Enzoi.
Enzoi, yeah, Smurfs world. Can you imagine like an Enzoi world where you're a Smurf and you like got to build the society, and you got to go to Papa Smurf's hut, right? You got to go on a mission or something. I think it's cool. I look at the possibilities of where VR is going, and with a big IP like this, and the magic is seeing these characters as they are doing their thing in their size, whether it be brainy or clumsy or whatever. And so I think it's cool. I think it's definitely could be a really cool game.
I don't want Grumpy Smurf in my living room. That's too much drama.
And please, now what about Smurfette?
Well, that's different.
I hate mixed reality. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get Grumpy Smurf works out well for
Oh,
this,
that's right,
so.
Grumpy. Yeah, he would hate it.
Yeah, he would.
I hate tower defense. You know what? That is kind of the only mind boggler here with me, Eric. You know, obviously this makes a lot of sense. They're pulling on the nostalgia string for the one like age demographic that consistently still buys games. They know that the people that are buying VR games are a bunch of old fucks. So Smurfs, perfect. That's something they can hook us with. But why tower defense? Like why don't we just have like a Smurfs like adventure game, or even
open
what,
world or something? Yeah.
what about a city builder? Like do a Smurf city builder and build like the Mushroom Kingdom out in your
Right.
living room or something.
Well, it's kind of what I was just describing with Izio, except for, you know, in a
right. There you
sense,
go.
you know, it's kind of like you're creating the world that you wish you could, and maybe you could even shrink yourself down and you know, or even you know, go between being big and small, right? So you could actually go and explore the different environments. I think it's cool. I think even as it is, I think this would be really cool to check out and just see the Smurfs as they are, and would be a nostalgia trip. And if there's even an ounce of gameplay, which it looks like there is, I think it could be pretty fun. So
Yeah,
No,
and I agree, and I'm looking forward to like seeing what this is, but but this is the problem like with mixed reality. Like you force games into mixed reality because you're like, it's got to be mixed reality. Like for me,
Right.
this would have been a better game if it was VR and you did a campaign or a story, or like I want to go on an adventure like with
right,
the Smurfs and go, like go battle Gargamel or whatever. Like this is a whole world, but this developer or whoever did this, whether it was, I don't know if this was a meta project or not, but this was all about like this started with, we're making a mixed reality game, and then they just jammed an IP into mixed reality and didn't think about like, is the game going to be any fun? Like who wants to play tower defense? Like you can't just grab an IP and then stick a shitty gameplay on it and think it's going to be okay. Go ask Civilization. Like, you
right.
can't do that. Like it doesn't work that way. Like you can't shoehorn stuff in because it's mixed reality and it's new. That's where mixed reality gets a bad rap. If you do things with because it makes sense for mixed reality, or it's a good gameplay for mixed reality, then it's better. But when you shoehorn this stuff in, this is like, I'm worried that this is not going to be fun to play.
Well, hopefully it's a good tower defense game.
Right.
The problem is though, is if it is a good tower defense game, it would have been a good tower defense game in VR. Like it doesn't need to be mixed reality.
The Smurfs.
Like you said, it's kind of they're making it mixed reality just so they can say it's a mixed reality game, and I'm sure Meta gave them some incentive to do that, right? Like we know how the game is played. Like they're going to get pushed on the store or funding or something for making it mixed reality, but yeah, clearly it doesn't need to be, and yeah, hopefully it's a VR mode available or MR, and you get to pick what you want to.
What if you need to stand up and run to the other side of the board like really fast? Then then the mixed reality would make sense, right? Because you don't want to.
That's a fair point. That actually is a fair point. Although I would argue that I would rather not have to do that. Like I'd rather use my thumbsticks and float over to the other side of the map. That would be great.
Yeah. This has the potential to be pretty cool, but I agree. I think they just slammed in an IP, and I don't know. I like the fact that Gargamel, that I'm fighting him. I'm not a big fan. I've hated him for about 45 years or so. So
yeah.
Smurfette though, man, Smurfette is good to go. One lady in a village of workers, like
she's pretty much she's the Smurfs version of my mom.
She has her role to play, right? She has her job.
Man. Have a Smurfy day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, like, is Smurfette the mom, or did the mom die? Like, who's Mama? We know who Papa Smurf is. Like, who is Mama Smurf?
What's weird is Smurfette was created by Gargamel, and I can't remember exactly how it happened. He created her as like a plant to try to trick them, right? And then somehow, some way, she became a part of the community. I mean, I wouldn't know. If she was trying to scam me, I would have been pissed.
She was a gold digger.
Yeah, she was a gold digger. Yeah. So.
I would have rather. You know what I would have rather is give me Fraggle Rock, and then like make me do a city builder with Fraggle Rock. That would be cool.
So that
if you're gonna go old school like nostalgia,
I think that's actually a really good idea. You guys were like Wes had brought up that you're saying like a city builder with these old school cartoon characters where you've always dreamed growing up to want to be in that, go to Fraggle Rock or whatever it is. I'd love to go in the Littles world, right? I don't know if you guys watched that, but that was cool, man. Like there's so many possibilities of things like that. And yeah, I think it's cool. So
I want a Laugh Olympics game.
Yes.
You guys remember Hanna-Barbera Laugh Olympics?
Sure,
I do.
100%. Yeah.
I do.
I'll take anything Hanna-Barbera. I'm down. Josie and the Pushy.
Yeah, me too. Me too. All right. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for us this week, ladies and gents. Again, look forward to coming back next week and doing a show, and all the following weeks. Again, they're not all going to be on this grand scale that you are used to, but we're going to be doing more bite-sized content just to make sure that we can get on here and talk. I don't like it when we go, weeks and even months without talking to the community. It just doesn't feel right. Anyways, I think we'll probably be back this weekend, probably talking about some game that we play this week. Lord knows we have a ton of them. And then I think we'll be back in 2 weeks with Game of the Months for April, May. In the meantime, gameplay streams. I'll probably, I don't know, it's getting kind of late. I'll either go on tonight or tomorrow night with Lies of P. So be on the lookout for that. Everyone be sure to subscribe, ring the bell so that you'll be notified when we're getting ready to go live. If you want to do a little something extra to support, you can always support us on Patreon. $3 per month, that's all we ask. And in exchange for that, you get insider updates and exclusive content. And then, of course, if you don't have extra money, we understand completely. And that's why the Virtual Strangers Discord is 100% free to join. And that is where we hang out. We talk about games. We talk about life. We share music. We watch police chase people. All free of charge. There is an invitation in the description down below. Just click the link and join the community. You will be greeted at the door, I assure you.
D says you need to do it tonight.
I probably will. I just need a little break, get out of this chair, eat some dinner, and then I'll probably come back and do a couple hours of Lies of P for the peeps. If you guys want to hang out and watch, again, just make sure you've got the bell. Make sure the bell is rung so that you will be notified when we do that. Anyway, with that said, friends, we'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Ruuts and Eric, I'm Wes. We'll see you soon. Bye now.
Take it easy.
See you later.